Yes. Okay, so magma builds inside the earth. Inside the earth, it's really, 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 really hot to the point where all the rocks melt and it forms magma. When magma forms, it kind of gets pushed up eventually by just pressure, it kind of like erupts. So you can see it near volcanoes and all that stuff. So when it comes out, that's what you guys consider lava. But inside the earth, it's called magma. Yes. So when it starts to cool down, all these rocks that start to form are called igneous rocks. And so I'm going to show you a couple different igneous rocks. So this one, it's my favorite, one of my favorites. This one's called obsidian. Say that? Obsidian. Yes. So it's obsidian rock. This one forms when lava touches water. Correct? Awesome. So yeah, it forms when lava touches water and then it cools down really, really fast and it gives us this shiny, pretty look. So I'm going to pass this one. Alright. It's very smooth, you're right. Yeah, just like that really soft feeling. Yeah, those do break easily, so be careful with that one. So that one's when lava touches water. So when lava cools down on the surface of the earth and no interaction with water or anything, it's called basalt.
What's basalt?
Basalt is a rock, an igneous type of rock.
You can actually see the form from the lava too.
Yeah, so it kind of like, you can see how it kind of,
like it's swirly.
yeah, so when it touches the water, it starts to cool down and it gets those forms. So this one's going to be a basalt. This one cools, it takes its time to cool down, and so it's not as shiny, and it's really cool, but not as pretty, at least in my opinion.
Yeah.
And so this one's a basalt, so you guys can take a look at that one.
These are the same thing as lava. Oh, I have the. Why does it have like nothing?
Oh, that's just for, we use them to study them, so we label them.
It has red.
These are igneous rocks as well. So have you guys ever heard of granite countertops?
Yeah.
Yeah, do you guys have them at home and stuff like that?
Yeah.
So in your kitchen, you guys, like some people have granite countertops. That's actually an igneous rock. So like those two cool down at the surface. This one cools down inside of the earth. So it makes this thing called a granitic rock. And so I'm going to pass this one around so you guys can take a look at this one as
I
well.
have that kind of rock. This one looks like earth, kind of.
Yeah.
Like a dark. I have that kind of rock. I found it.
Oh, you found it? Awesome. And so that one's a granite, and then it's also an igneous rock. Yeah.
Somewhere in your house.
Yeah, so in your kitchen,
And some in your school. On the floor, you could
also have it on the floor, yeah.
Because I have it on my floor. And I found this one in the why is it like this?
Raise your hand, remember?
What? You saw it there?
Is it?
It's
heavy.
it probably just, it cracks. So like anything, like someone might have broken it on purpose just to get a little piece rather than a big piece. So it just breaks like that. And so that's an igneous rock.
This rock is so heavy.
Yeah, that's very heavy. It's a little bit bigger than the other samples I gave you.
And it has some little parts of the smoother rock.
Yeah, so it's made up of different,
Kinds of rock.
yeah.
And if you look closer, when the light's hitting it, looks shiny.
Yeah, definitely. It gives it that gloss, especially where we cut it, especially.
Yeah.
That's metamorphic rocks forming. So, yeah, so it's kind of, you get half melted rocks, and so that's what forms the metamorphic rock, where it's the in-between igneous rocks. So at the center of the earth, where it's really, really hot, is where you have magma, and that's where you get igneous rocks. Kind of in the in-between, that's where you get metamorphic rocks. And then at the surface is the first one we talked about, and that's sedimentary rocks. So I'm going to show you a sample. And so this one's called a marble. And so this one, you know how I said it's kind of melted? This one forms when limestone, the one you guys have somewhere over there, kind of goes inside the earth and it kind of melts. This is what you get. When it kind of melts, but it still hasn't turned into magma, this is what you get.
And it's a pretty hand.
It is very pretty. I know. I'm used to it.
Also me.
Yeah, you're probably gonna get your hands dirty.
This one's like kind of like
No, so that was inside. That was inside the earth. You get a metamorphic rock.
It looks like a screw. Oh yeah. And sometimes when thunder hits the ground, the rocks start to look like that too.
Yeah. Do you have a question? Yeah, so it turns into sandglass. Yeah. What was that? That's for me to study them. So it's what I collect and I label them. So
You can know which one's which.
yeah, so exactly. When he went, I'm sorry, what was that? The metamorphic rocks? That's so cool. Did you like them? Did you guys collect them now? Awesome. Okay. What was that? I'm sorry, what was that? So it's underneath the earth where it's kind of hot, not too hot for it to melt completely. So you have the in between. If it's too hot, it's gonna turn into magma, and magma forms an igneous rock. So close enough, yeah. So yeah, so that one's igneous rock, and then the metamorphic rock is the where you get kind of melting but not completely.
The metamorphic rock kind of looks like a diamond.
What was that? Okay, go ahead.
Sometimes the rocks turn into diamonds and it turns into a smooth.
Alright, so you guys want me to explain what diamonds, how diamonds form?
But show her that you guys are good listeners.
Okay.
Because this is a secret.
Yeah, this was a big secret, alright? Okay, so this one's called coal. Do you guys know what coal is?
Charcoal.
It's made of fire. Okay, so coal. This one's actually made out of plants. Don't get lost here. Okay, so when plants get buried and they don't decompose, you guys probably don't know it. So they don't break apart. So usually when you get plants that fall, like a tree that falls, you get it breaks apart and turns into, and it just kind of feeds nutrients to the dirt. And so instead of it breaking down, you have it getting it buried. And then under a lot of pressure and heat, it builds coal. Does that make any sense to all of you guys? Who's confused?
And when coal gets crushed, it starts to turn into diamonds.
No, there's a different level. So coal actually turns into, you guys use this every day,
Yeah.
lead.
For the
Yes. So under a lot of heat and pressure, it turns into lead, which is what you guys used to write off with. So yeah. And so once the lead forms, it's called graphite. dinosaurs even existed. So it's stuff like that that we study. And so we try to understand how different living organisms, just like ourselves, how they interacted with the environment they were in. You have a question?
Do you guys study dinosaurs too?
Yes. So geology, you can specifically go into paleontology, and that's the study of living organisms,
You
fossils.
could do any. You could learn about anything
Geology? I mean, there's a lot of things you can learn about. So that's why I personally got into geology. You can learn about dinosaurs, you can learn about water, you can learn about rocks, you can learn about earthquakes, volcanoes,
tornadoes, water.
not tornadoes so much, yeah, water. And so that's why I like geology, because it's just so much, it's just so much more than just a rock.
Like what?
So, what was that?
Like what?
It's a lot of fun. Yeah, definitely a lot of fun. So okay, I'm gonna take a volunteer now.
Whoever's sitting down nicely and listening.
How about this? Who can tell me what a sedimentary rock is?
Oh, something built out of sand,
Mm-hmm. And give me another example. Sand or
pebbles.
yeah. Okay. So what's your name? Jessie. Okay, Jessie. We're gonna build a sedimentary rock ourselves. So we're gonna pretend that this is sand. So we're gonna go ahead. Okay. So you're gonna. What did I say? How did they build? How do sedimentary rocks form?
Like squishing.
Okay. So go ahead. Squish them. Squish those. Squish those. However you want. So here, I'll do it with you too. So you squish it really hard. We'll go wash our hands after this, promise. So you squish it and you squish it. Okay, so you see how much it takes for it to actually get squished together? Alright, so now show everybody what you have. It's all gooey, yeah. So, okay, so this is kind of what you get, right? So squish it a little bit more, a little harder, so it can actually stick together. Yeah. There you go. That should be good. Okay, so now show everybody. Okay, and then pass it over to me. Okay. So this is how a sedimentary rock forms. Under a lot of pressure, you're gonna get a lot of sand stuck together.
Oh, that's cool.
So see, they kind of get squished together to the point where it becomes a rock, for the most part.
Very